Hello, who's there?
Is this me?
It is.
Is this you?
Iain.
Hello, how you doing?
Two things. I'm all right. Two things. Firstly, the sigh there when... Shall we take another call? Yeah, okay. And also, did Chuck twice say the word rant instead of rant?
Rant.
Yeah, bit of posh.
He said rant. I want to have a rant. It's very posh. I want to have a rant. I've never heard that. Thank you, Chuck. I'm going to say rant from now on instead of rant.
I tell you what, as a Yorkshire boy, I'd get lynched if I went back saying rant when I go home.
What is it in Yorkshire? Is it Bath or Bath, or is it something different?
It's Bath, yeah, Bath for Yorkshire. This is the weird thing. We are based in Sunderland with this radio station, but both Hayden and I are Yorkshire boys. I'm Huddersfield and bit of Doncaster over there, aren't you?
Yeah, sunny Donny, best place in the country.
Lovely, Donny. I feel very nervous phoning you guys. I'm calling in from bed. I'm just outside of Aylesbury, which is about 20 miles north of London, and I'm in bed, and I've got one of the cats here, and it's been a bloodbath in terms of cats killing mice this evening, and I'm just feeling, I'm not feeling great, and I'm bored because there's no radio on. There's no good radio. All radio at 10 o'clock seems to have died, and I saw your Twitter feed, and it was streaming live, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to break the habit of a lifetime. I'm going to call up a radio show.
Well, you know
what, you say this, there's no sort of good radio. That's what we wanted. We wanted to bring it back, especially in Sunderland. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing in the northeast, really.
Iain,
so we were
I'm going to level up with you, right? When the reason why the sigh happened just before we clicked on your name is because our call screener was 99% sure who you were, and we were like, right, okay, right, let's take a deep breath before we go into this, because this is a really nice moment for Hayden and I, and the reason why it is because
let me tell you what, I'm Iain Duncan Smith, the Tory. And I'm here to talk about Brexit, and I know you guys are excited at the prospect of a Brexit phone-in tonight.
Yes, please.
No, I'd be listening to another station if I wanted that. But, Iain, the reason why is because this show is... and I know this isn't why you called it, and we're not going to stick on it too long, but I need to tell you this. This show is here because of people like yourself and Kath. Because Hayden and I started in lockdown. We were doing breakfast on this station, and we were bored on evenings, and I'm lonely because I'm here on my own, and I have been for 15 or 16 weeks now, I've lost count, and I needed a bit of company on a night, and I found you and Kath, and when you guys left your old employer, I had nothing left to do on a night, and Hayden and I went, you know what, there'll be other people out there who'll be feeling this way. So let's just do it, shall we? This is the moment that student radio can step up where commercial radio is, and others, public broadcasters are having to cut back right now. We don't have to worry about funding because none of us are getting paid anyway. So we're just trying to do our best, and this is, it's a pleasure to chat to you.
You have, I'm feeling really low tonight, and what you have just said, and the fact that you mentioned my best mate Catherine as well, because not everyone does. Not everyone realises that she was more than 50% of the show. That has really touched me. So that's very kind of you. Thank you very much. That's I'm that close to having a little cry down the phone. How would that be for you guys if you had a little cry? I'm that close.
I did the same last night, nearly. I'll cry with you. The reason why I mentioned Kath is simply because I know what it's like, because Hayden's been my producer for the past 10 months when we were doing breakfast, and I know what it's like, because I've sat there and I've had people like saying nice things about the show, and I'm going, well, actually, that was mostly Hayden. I just put a voice to it.
Yeah, good for you. It's very easy. It's very easy when your name is above the door, as mine was with the show on Talk Radio. To sit there comfortably and take all the credit. And we know that it's more than that. And I've worked with Kath for 8 years, and she is my best. I have worked with her for 8 years. I don't now, but she is my best friend, and I think she's one of the funniest, most talented people I've ever met, and simply, you know, I'm very privileged, white, middle-aged guy, and because she's a woman. I've heard stories about so many opportunities not going her way, and it's heartbreaking. So you mentioning her name has really touched me. I know that it will please her when I tell her. So thank you. How are you? No, it's not my show. I'm not going to ask you a question. I'm going to shut up.
I want to ask you questions. Come on, right?
You can ask me. Here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. You can ask me anything you want. Anything you want. I'm kind of feeling loose, and I'm in bed, so ask me anything you want.
Oh, well, I tell you what, I'll have a think of what I'm going to ask you, you know, in a bit then.
Iain,
what is
your favourite type of lettuce?
Well, the only lettuce I can think of is an iceberg. And I occasionally, there's things that I buy. I haven't bought a lettuce for ages, but I'll buy cherry tomatoes and I'll buy sweet corn on the cob. Because I think, I'll have that. I'll have the tomatoes in a cheese sandwich and I'll do and then I never do it. So they are the things I throw away the most, if that was going to be your next question. Cherry tomatoes and corn on the cob.
I think that was going to be my next question.
So I'm good.
I'll tell you what I'll go with then is, you mentioned that you're not having the best of nights.
No.
How do you deal with it? How do you deal with those nights where you're a little bit like,
well, I can tell you. I did an online Alcoholics Anonymous meeting, so I haven't done a meeting for a week or so, and that gets me feeling a little bit itchy. Not, I'm going to go and have a drink, but it gets me down, and I know that sitting in a meeting cheers me up, and it kind of worked. After that, I'm going away next week. I'm taking my boys away, and I booked some activities for us to do. And then I booked a weekend away in August for me and my boys. And I just came to bed early. I've got clean sheets on. I came to bed early. The cats are winding me up like nobody's business. I've just listened to a Beatles bootleg. Do you know what? I'm just not feeling great today. I'm not feeling great. And I'm feeling a bit sorry for myself. And there are some great things that are going to happen in a couple of weeks with this, you know, with a new show. But I just feel lousy, man. I feel really, really lousy. And I know it'll pass, and I just need to get through it, you know. And I'm talking to you. That's what I do. Is I try and share with people. And I thought I'd phone you up. And I'm genuinely feeling very uncomfortable at phoning up a phone-in show. You know, it's easy being on the other side. This side is weird, but it's a healthy thing to do, I think.
It is a weird side, isn't it? You know, I've tried a few times and then I've bottled it sometimes, and it's just there like it's always a bit strange, you know. Where in fact, I tell you what was really weird was me and Hayden were both actually at the last rabbit hole that Ian Cass did.
The one in Cardiff.
No, the last rabbit hole on Zoom. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, the one on Zoom. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes. That was fun.
We were on there, and you put me on the spot with a question when I didn't have my microphone plugged in or anything like that, and I made an absolute fool of myself.
Oh God, no! I'm so sorry. What did I?
No.
It was the Stone Roses one, wasn't it? The self-titled album.
And I wasn't listening. I'd stopped paying attention. I'd gone to make a drink, and then I was like, funny. I've got no idea what's going on.
Thank you for that, though. It was funny. I hope you didn't feel picked on, because that's not what that show is not meant to be kind of bullying or anything. And old me would have pushed that a bit longer, and it would have been a bit meaner. But no, you were very, very funny. That was the best possible answer you could have given to one of those questions. So thank you for being a good sport.
How long
are you guys coming to? Are you coming? No, don't worry if you haven't booked tickets. But I'm doing another one on Sunday, and if you haven't booked tickets, send me an email and I'll give you tickets. I'll give you virtual tickets for the pair of you. So send me an email.
Bless you. We'll be there definitely. We'd love to, wouldn't we, Hayden?
Nice one.
Yeah, definitely. I was probably going to get a ticket anyway, to be honest with you.
Oh,
but, you know,
well,
free tickets,
send me the money. It's fine. Free ticket is a free ticket. I will send you some tickets.
How are you feeling about the new Twitch streams? How are you feeling about it? Because it's somewhere that radio presenters haven't really gone before with this style of show, and I'll tell you what my view is looking in, is I'm thinking to myself, you know what, if this works out, this could be a huge game changer. You know, if you're able to, you know, make a living with it. If I'm going to, you know, put it point blank. I
can. They're paying me. They're paying me. That's the joy of this. Is I'm guaranteed a certain amount of money. You know, I ain't ninja. You know, it's significantly less than I was earning on the radio. But how am I feeling about it? Twitch is about to explode. Twitch have just tonight launched like a UK Twitter, and they're about to announce that they've got sport coming, and there are loads of other people that are going to be doing shows, nothing like mine, but they're bringing kind of TV shows to Twitch. The show itself is going to be really good because it is a freedom that I have not had in 15 years, and it's going to be good. It's going to be silly. I'm slightly nervous that by it being on an online thing, you kind of miss out on the casual radio listener who's going through the dial. I have a couple of surprises up my sleeve that I think will excite people. It'll be good. It'll be great. It'll be great. There we go. That's what I say. It's going to be great. But in my head, I've left the industry. I've been doing a lot of thinking, and I don't know how much of the last 20 years I've really enjoyed. Certainly, hardly any of the TV stuff I've done I've enjoyed. For the TV has been, a lot of it has been about money, and there's not been about creativity and feeling artistically, you know, excited or whatever. Some of the radio I've enjoyed, and some of it has been really good, but I think it's been more painful than it has been fun. So I'm to college in September, and I'm going to study a diploma for a couple of years. And my plan is, at the moment, and this might change, you know, I only lost my job a month ago, but the plan is to leave this in 3 years and go and do something completely different. That's where I'm at.
As much as that would be a loss for the industry, in my opinion, it's all about what makes you happy, and it's all about what gets you and I know that from the time that I've been listening to you, and I've heard from like the community that you guys have built up, you and Kath, like I know that your audience, the core audience, are the ones that will go, you know what, just do what you need to do, and they'll support you 100%.
They'll get it. And a weird thing about the industry, and I don't say this in any way, you know, I think it's a privilege to broadcast to people. It's certainly not an entitlement. So I'm not in any way going, oh, this isn't fair. But I'm just telling you exactly how it is. Everyone, so many people, you know, on Twitter and stuff have said, don't worry, you'll get another job really quickly. I can tell you, I've had one offer of work, and it was for 60 quid a day, and it would have been one day every couple of weeks. 60 quid, it's 120 quid a month. I can't live on that. And, you know, all of the big stations, 5 and Radio 2 and 6 and all those absolute, they've all said, oh, we love Iain, we think he's great. We just haven't got a place for him in our schedule. We just don't think he'd fit in with us. So, you know, where else do you go? I used to love radio, and I've been so upset by it recently, the last couple of years in particular. I find it really hard to listen to it now. And that's really sad, because I used to listen to it all the time, and I just can't listen to the radio anymore.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from with that, totally. Would you agree, Hayden?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think if I was in that situation, I'd probably be the same. I just hope it doesn't go that way for us. I guess that's
to be inspiring the next generation of broadcasters. It's awful.
Iain,
it's awful.
No, Iain,
we wouldn't be here without you, Iain.
Yeah, no,
we would not be doing this show right now.
I think in all seriousness, though, we all do need to be prepared for what the industry is that we're going into, and the current situation as well. You know, I had this conversation with my mum earlier on the phone, because, like, I've been doing community radio for 6 years, and really sort of I was doing it on the side of other things. couple of personal issues the last few years, so I took some time off from, trying to push into it as a career. Came back this year, went, right, I'm giving up my job. I moved away. I left all my life behind in Lincoln and came up to the northeast to do this for a year and put all of my money and effort into it.
Wow.
And then COVID happened and it crashed. And the industry is a very... it's a very cruel place to try and get into, and it's even more difficult now with COVID.
I think that Twitch and YouTube and podcasts and whatever the next thing is, I think those are going to be the way forward. Yeah. Monetizing it is really difficult again, and that's the practical thing. I'm really fortunate that Twitch are going to be paying me, which is amazing. But I don't see this style of radio, and by this style I mean what I'm doing and from what I've heard of you. It's always going to be slightly fringy. You're not doing that thing that's so easy to do, where you come on and you get people angry by going, why the bloody hell should I wear a mask? Masks are for idiots. Give me a call now. That's easy. Anyone can do that. I'm not going to, I don't trust the government. I don't want to get a vaccine. That stuff is easy to do. It's easy to scare people and to upset people and to get them angry. And that's what gets listeners, and that's where the money is at the moment. What's harder to do is what I can hear that you two are doing. What's harder to do is to be humorous and to be gentle and to be caring and to want to put a metaphorical arm around your listeners. Not to be walked over or anything, but to want to project a caring kind of image. That's hard to do and make it interesting and not sound worthy, and it's also almost impossible to monetize. That's the problem. People want to be angry and they want to be scared.
And that's why, that is why, and I'm very aware of that fact, that this show, for example, is something that is a real struggle to monetize, and I think that's why now we're trying to put it out there that this is a moment that community and student radio can pick up that baton or whatever baton. I'm going into the I'm going into the
rant and rant.
Yeah, exactly, rant and rant. But like I feel like now is a chance where, stations like ours can just go, you know what, we can just put this kind of programming on and see whether it works. And we've sort of proved over the last week, because this is a 1 week sort of the show being on air now, and there's a little community building up already, and that makes me so happy. And it's proving that there's a little bit of an appetite out there for this kind of radio still, and I don't want to see it die.
Are you getting calls? You've just had. I'm your third call that I've heard. Back to back. Are you getting people phoning in?
We're getting about. We're getting about 15 calls a night.
Hey, that's good.
It's usually
that's
really
good.
quiet.
That's more than we got some nights.
Yeah.
So it's a grower, I think, and we've had these conversations with academics and lecturers as well, where we've sort of said it takes a while to build a trust with an audience. We're having to,
of course,
and to get into the real sort of deep conversations. I'm glad, we had Sam on earlier on calling in saying that, like, he talked about the Samaritans and how that's helped him, and the fact that someone could call in on and feel like they can trust us is such an amazing. I know you've had moments like that yourself, with helping people.
Oh yeah, we had a couple of suicidal people that had taken overdoses, and a lot of that, and that's because I think you have to sort of educate the listeners as to what you expect from them, and I would do that, and it took me a long while to learn it, but I would do that by sharing my stuff, and I would talk about my mental health, and I came out as bisexual on air, and I would talk about being an addict, and I'd talk about all this kind of stuff, because there's no shame in any of this experience. And if people don't phone in and identify with it, the number of times I got stopped in a shop or after a live event, and people, generally men in their sort of 30s and 40s, would come up to me and say, "Can I just have a quick word? That thing you did when you talked about loneliness, and or that thing you did about you know, when you don't see your kids after the divorce, that really affected me and it impacted me. So, you know, you might get a phone call calling in, reflecting on what you're sharing. And for every phone call, there's, I don't know, 5, 10, 50, 100 people that aren't calling in, but are also identifying and being able to go, oh, God, there's someone else that's gone through that. A lot of the mental health stuff, I have been really disappointed to find out. A lot of the stuff that I have felt about myself and my mental health and my addictions, loads of other people have gone through it. I'm not unique. I'm not the only person that has felt these things. And it's a little bit disappointing because I want to be unique. I want to be the only person that has felt this particular way. But actually, loads of other people have gone through it. And so what I'm trying to say, by me sharing it, there will be loads of other people behind me on the journey that may get some inspiration or strength from it, or may have a good laugh at it. I don't care. I don't care. You have a good laugh at me, you know, wanting to commit suicide. I don't mind. It's my story, and I'm learning to not be embarrassed or ashamed about anything that I've felt or done. And if there is stuff I'm shameful about, there is some stuff actually, to try and make amends around that behaviour wherever it's possible to do so. We're all learning, you know. None of us are perfect, however much we want to pretend that we are or portray that we are. We're all learning, and we're all going to mess things up spectacularly at various points. And it's how you deal with that mess up, I think, is what, it's not the mess up, it's how you clear up the mess is what defines us, I think.
Have you been able to keep in contact or check in with any of your regular callers since the show ended?
A bit, yeah, on Twitter, and I've been doing a couple of test runs of the new show on Twitch, and a couple of people called in, and then I did one last week, I think. I get so confused with days now. I think I did one last week, and after I'd finished, I felt really low. Something just got me. I think the fact that Catherine wasn't part of it, and I don't know, I just felt really low, and I felt really sad about losing the job again and all that stuff that we did. And I just sat at the computer for 30 minutes not doing anything, thinking, oh my God, where do I go next? And Skype rang, and it was Nigel from Maidstone. I don't know if that means anything to you. It might mean, you know, it means something. Yeah. Nigel from Maidstone phoned up, who is a very vulnerable person, and someone had messaged the number for the new show to him via Facebook, and he phoned up, and we had a nice little chat, you know, where I told him what had happened and invited him to call up the new show, and it breaks my heart. A guy called Jerry, who's got really bad Parkinson's, called up, and it breaks my heart because whoever they are, people, the suits are realising there's not really any money in these kind of shows, so they're getting rid of them. My show has gone. BBC London, I used to listen to, has become something different. A lot of the BBC late night shows are becoming something different. And it does mean the lost, the lonely, the bewildered, the people with speech defects that take a bit of effort to understand, the people who are, you know, perhaps mentally vulnerable, they're not going to get on. They are not going to get on to a phone-in show. Our show was special in that whenever me or Catherine had a stand-in person answering the phones, is there anybody you don't want through? We would say, put everybody through. And if you hear someone that you think you would not normally put through on a phone-in show, put them to the top of the queue. And I really worry about those people. It's not Talk Radio's job to look after them. It's not the BBC's job to look after them. But I feel a responsibility towards them. And I do worry about those people to whom, you know, radio at 11:30, 12:30 at night is a friend, you know, is a companion. That seems to be going, if it's not gone already. So what you're doing is important. And this show, I don't know how long your show is intending to go on for. It may go on for 10 years and become hugely successful, or it may end after, 5 weeks, and that's fine, because the skills that you have picked up talking to these people, you'll carry on to your next job, and you'll also have inspired the people that you're talking to. People will have been touched by what you've been able to share with them for however long you're doing this. What I'm trying to say is, what you guys are doing is important, even though you may not feel like it. And I used to hate people saying that to me. But in retrospect, I can see that maybe they were right. So maybe in retrospect, you'll see that I'm right.
Iain, it's been an absolute pleasure to chat with you this evening. Thank you so much for giving the call. Send Catherine our best as well. We definitely.
I hope you don't feel that I've hijacked your show. I was really wary. I didn't want to phone up, and James who answered the phones is brilliant, and I didn't want to go, hey, it's Iain Lee, and I just want to, I just wanted to come up as a caller, and I hope you've not felt any obligation to talk to me.
I tell you what, Iain. Obviously tonight, we've talked about, a lot of radio stuff and a lot about, and we mentioned about the Twitch stream and stuff like that. But when you call up in a few nights' time, next time you're bored and you fancy it, you're just Iain. You're just Iain.
Thank you.
Doesn't matter.
I appreciate that a lot. Thank you, guys. Best of luck with it, and nice to talk to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Iain.
Take care. Up your bum.
Did he just say,
I think he did.
Oh, what a guy. What a guy.
Bless him.